Hey bakers, it's Sandy here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have another inclusion bread for you. We are going to make the Italian herb and cheese artisan sourdough bread. So let me give you a list of what you're going to need. We're going to start with my basic, really super easy beginner sourdough recipe. We're going to be using 150 grams of active starter. We're going to use 500 grams of flour. We're going to use 10 grams of sea salt, and we're going to use 350 grams of warm water. And when we get to the second and third stretch and folds, we are also going to incorporate some cheese. And this is cheddar and Reggiano Parmigiana, or Parmigiana Reggiano. There's 130 grams of that. Then we have Italian seasoning. There's 3 grams of that. And basil, dried basil, there's 4 grams of that. And this is just a lovely bread. You are really going to like this. Okay, so I am going to start my scale here. Didn't like the weight of my bowl. There we go. I always start with starter, and yes, I'm one of those people. I break the rules. I have a piece of paper towel over my starter. Shoot me. I like my starter to breathe, and it's pretty happy in there. Okay, so we are going to need around 150 of this. Why 150? Because I live in Alberta, Canada. It's cold up here in the wintertime, so our houses are cold, and if you put more starter in the wintertime, then it shortens your fermentation period, okay? Look at that. It is beautiful. Next, I'm going to add 350 grams of warm water. $357. I'm a little over. No worries. I don't play in exacts. Okay, somebody probably told you to buy one of these. Yes, it does mix dough really, really well, but let me tell you about how hard this is to clean. Use the other end. I use the end of a wooden spoon because it's so much easier to clean. And of course, you don't want any of this mixture going down your drains in your kitchen or anywhere else in your house. So you want to be able to wipe as much of the dough off with a paper towel before you wash your utensils so that you don't plug up your drains. This stuff is like cement when it gets into your drains. Okay, so you just want to give this a good stir. It just takes a couple of minutes to really break this down and get it well dispersed. You could use a whisk if you wanted to, but again, this is a whisk. Okay, but the problem is cleaning the tools. Okay, we're getting close. All right, I think we're good. I'm going to put this back on my kitchen scale and tar it out to 0. We're going to add 500 grams of, this is bread flour. I'm at 419, I need a little bit more. And again, you don't need to be dead on. I'm over 502, no biggie. 10 grams of salt. I did weigh that out before. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to mix this, and what you want is a shaggy ball, but you want all of this flour nice and wet. I forgot to bring my bowl scraper up. Oh well, I'll grab it next time. Okay, so just work this around, and this is what I mean by shaggy. That is shaggy dough. Okay. And if you find that you have an absolute ton of flour, sneak in a tiny little bit more water. Okay. Now what we're going to do is We're going to let this sit for half an hour. I'm going to cover it with some saran wrap, And then I'm going to come back in half an hour and we're going to start our stretch and folds. Okay, it's been 30 minutes. I'm back and I brought my bowl scraper. Just going to clean off the sides of my bowl. Now this dough is quite sticky, so wet your fingers before you do your stretch and pulls. Stretch and pull, you're going to pick it up and bring it towards you. Turn a quarter of a turn, pick it up, bring it towards you. Wet your fingers. Okay, you're going to work your way around the bowl and you're going to do that 4 or 5 times. Okay, dough feels nice already. Get a few little dry spots in there, but not too bad. Okay, and so we are covering this and we're going to let it set, and I'll see you in another 30 minutes. Okay, I'm back. It's been another 30 minutes. We're going to do another set of stretch and folds. The dough's looking exceptional. Blending nicely. Okay, so this is the last one without the inclusions. I'm going to wait another 30 minutes and then we're going to add all these little goodies and get them blended into our bread. See you in 30. Okay, it's been another 30 minutes. Now we're getting to the good stuff. We're going to dump all of this in. And this is going to get very messy, so make sure you got some paper towel handy. Okay. And you probably want to do a few extra stretches and folds. Just working this in. Okay, and picking up as much as you can. The dough is pretty sticky, so it is going to help you with that. Oh, it smells so good already. I can't wait to bake this tomorrow, or next day. All right. Looking good. We're going to wait another 30 and we are going to do the final stretch and folds. So see you in 30. Okay, I'm back. We're into number 4. Once again, wet your hands. This won't be quite as sticky because a lot of the dry herbs have absorbed some of the moisture, and the gluten's also working, and it's just starting to look real good. I'm going to do a few extras here though. Get this really blended. Okay, I'm liking it. Okay, you've got a little bit of goobies on the bottom. Okay, and what I'm doing is I'm just kind of going like this and working it in. We want to get as much of this incorporated as we possibly can. Okay, and like I said, I am going to roll it over, and there we go. Okay, so next step is fermentation, and this is done on the counter, and you want to cover it either with saran wrap or a wet kitchen towel. If you put a dry towel over top of it, it's going to dry out and you're going to get a nice crusty finish on the top of your dough. And we don't want that. We want to keep it nice and moist. And what's going to happen is in about 10 or 12 hours, it's going to almost double in size and it's going to dome a little bit. We're going to see some bubbles and it will pull away from the side of the glass, and that will let us know that the fermentation is far enough along that we can shape it, and then we'll stick it in the fridge We like to leave ours another 12 to 24 hours in the fridge. The longer you leave it in there, the more sour your flavor is going to be, and we like the sour. It also fits in well with my schedule, okay? So if you work, I started this morning. I fed my starter early in the morning, and our house is cool, about 68 degrees. So after work, 5 o'clock, I started making this bread and started doing this video. And so we got all the stretches and folds done. It's what, 7:06 right now. So this is going to go and sit beside the fridge. It's a little bit warmer in my kitchen beside the fridge. I also cover it with a kitchen towel, and it's going to sit there for 12 hours until tomorrow morning. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shape it before I get to work. And so I'll be shaping it about 7 o'clock, and I'll turn the video on and I'll share that with you. So good night. See you in the morning. Good morning. Welcome back. It's just after 7 o'clock, and I am going to show you how I'm going to shape this, and then we're going to stick it into a banneton basket, and it's going to ferment for the next, say, 24 hours, and then we'll bake it. So I'm going to remove my plastic cover. You want to keep this, you can reuse it. And check out this bread. And I have to tell you, I wish there was Smell TV, because this stuff smells amazing. Okay, if you're just tuning in, this is the Italian herb and cheese artisan bread loaf. And it has been proofing on my kitchen counter overnight. So how to tell whether it's well proofed? It's no longer sticky. It's not sticking to my hands. You can see bubbles on top, okay? It's pulled away from the side. It's nicely domed. And I'm going to try and show you the bottom. Hopefully you can see that. There's tons of bubbles. Okay, I'm going to live dangerously. Here we go. Can you see it? Look at all the bubbles. Perfect. So now we need to get it out of here and get it into here. This is called a banneton, or a proofing basket. This shape is called a batard, and that's French for oval or oblong. So we're going to make this into kind of a football shaped. And I like these because they're easier to cut than the round ones. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is I want to prep my banneton. And I'm using white rice flour. And I want to get as much of it in here as I can so that my bread doesn't stick to it while it's in the fridge fermenting. Okay, this is a bit messy. You do get flour everywhere. I'm constantly cleaning my kitchen floor. Next, I have a work surface here. I like to work on this nice wooden cutting board. I don't know why, I just like it. Okay, so sprinkling out some rice flour, and I'll show you what I'm using. There you go, Bob's Red Mill. This stuff works great. It doesn't have any gluten in it, so if you're playing with gluten-free, it doesn't add any gluten. Okay, so now we are going to get this little puppy out of here. And look at that. Well proofed, it's just falling out. Look at that baby. Oh my goodness. Need a little bit more flour, I think. Okay, so it's probably gonna, oh, it didn't even stick. Wow. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So I'm trying to shape it loosely into a rectangle. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the top, I'm going to fold it down. Then I'm going to grab this side and move it over to here. I'm going to grab this side and move it over to here. This is a huge loaf, my goodness. Then we're going to grab the bottom of it and we're just going to roll it up. Ooh, she's a monster. Okay. We want to add a little, I'm moving some of this flour out of the way because we need to add some surface tension. So what I'm going to do is I'm pulling this loaf towards me, and it's pulling on the surface and adding tension. At the same time, I'm folding the ends under just ever so slightly. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, look at that baby. I'm going to pop that big bubble. There we go. Okay. There's my little football. This one big bubble keeps moving around. Okay, we're going to pop it into the banneton. And you want to do that upside down. And then we're going to squeeze the join tight. Cheese peeking through. I can't wait to taste this. Like I said, the smell's incredible. Okay. You can do some stitch pulls if you want. I'm not going to with this one because it's breaking the surface of the bread. And I don't want a whole bunch of holes, okay? But this is ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reuse this piece of plastic. And I'm going to cover this. And then second measure, I like to use a big old plastic bag. And we're going to pop the whole thing in. Leave a little bit of air in there. Okay, and we're going to pop it in the fridge. And like I explained last night, it's going into cold ferment. So it's going to slow down the fermentation process. It is not going to stop it. But what it does is it allows it to get a little bit more sour. I had a great big hole there. Good thing that's the bottom. Can I squeeze it through the plastic? There we go. You get those. Don't worry about it. It's all part of the bread making process. Okay, so see you tomorrow morning and we're going to bake this little baby. Thanks for stopping in. Bye. Good morning, welcome back. It's bake day and we are going to be baking our Italian herbs and cheese artisan sourdough bread. And this got a little puffy and I'll show you this. I shouldn't, but I will. This happens when you have inclusions. You'll get breaks open and you'll also get little holes in the exterior of your bread. That's normal, there's no way around it. Don't freak out, everything's good. Okay, so I have my oven preheated to 450 degrees and we need to take this little guy and get him into a Dutch oven. Now I have a cast iron Dutch oven right here. If you don't have one, and it's oval shaped because we are making a battered, okay? If you do not have one of these, you can use your blue roaster. You know, the one that you've had forever that you probably got from your grandma? You can use that to make sourdough bread. Okay, so we have that. Now I need a piece of parchment paper. We use the Costco brand. I quite like it. You saw me put some rice flour on top just so that it's not going to stick. Okay, the other thing I want to show you, see what I have going on inside here? This is a coiled up piece of tin foil. So I cut a whole bunch of pieces of tin foil. I rolled them up into a circle. I attached them and then I added them like this. This helps my bread not burn on the bottom. The second thing that I do is I sometimes have a cookie sheet on the level below. So I'm cooking on the top rack and then I put a cookie sheet on the bottom rack. And that moves the heat around a little bit more and stops, again, the bottom of your bread from burning. Okay, so you want to stick your hand firmly on your bread, flip it upside down, get rid of this little guy. Look at that. Oop. All right, so now we're going to do some scoring. I'm going to turn this a little bit. And there's two kinds of scores. Okay, there's decorative scores and there's expansion scores. And you want to do your decorative scores first because your expansion score is what makes your ear. And you're going to make a very, very deep mark down the side and it's going to blow everything open, which means it's going to move a lot, okay? I usually like to have my ear down this side. And so what I do is I decorate this side. And I'm just going to do a simple little wheat pattern down this side, and I'm not scoring very deep. I'm probably sticking the razor blade in about, I don't know, 1/4 inch. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. You'll see it once we get out of the oven because it opens up. Okay, the expansion score, get mean with it. All the way down, 1/2 inch deep. You want this little baby to open up. Okay, then we just simply pick this up, put it in the roaster, or in this case, We've got the oven. I'm going to put the lid on it and we're going to bake it. Okay, we've baked for 35 minutes. And I gotta tell you, the house smells amazing. I'm just going to peel back the paper. So at this point, we're going to take the lid off and we're going to put it back into the oven for another 18 minutes. But I wanted to share with you what the bread looks like so far. Woohoo! Look at all that gooey goodness right there in that corner. I can't wait to try this bread. Okay, see you in 18 minutes. Okay, it's been 18 minutes and I just took this out of the oven. The first thing I'm going to do is temp it. And so I have a thermometer here and you want it to get it at least to 202 in the center. And this is very dense, so I may have to put this back in for a few more minutes. It doesn't look quite brown enough on the outside either. So it's kind of stalling out at 187. I'm going to try going in from the end, see if that makes a difference. Sometimes it does. Yeah, nope. Okay, I'm going to stick it back in for another 4 or 5 minutes. Alrighty, another 5 minutes did it and we got to 204. Look at this beautiful loaf. Look, and I wish you could smell this. Oh my goodness, I can't wait. Okay, there's the bottom. See, it doesn't have any dark spots, but it's still nicely done. Lots of cheese and herbs showing through. And you can't really see my design because of the cheese, but it is there. This is a beautiful loaf. Now, I like to leave mine for about 2 hours before I cut it open. You want to set it up on a rack so that the air ventilates all the way around it to cool it off. And then when you cut into it, you don't get the gummy bottom. If you do cut into it too soon, you will get the gummy bottom. And I know sometimes you just can't wait. I understand that. I got to share another one I did with this morning. Did a long skinny guy. This is my easy beginner basic sourdough loaf. And we have a long skinny Banneton and we have a long skinny Dutch oven. And I've taken to making this shape because it's really easy to cut for sandwiches and it fits in the toaster perfectly. So there's my bakes for today. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you will give this little Italian herb and cheese artisan bread a try. And I'm going to come back in 2 hours and I'm going to cut this in half and show you the crumb. So until then, okay, it's been a couple of hours. It's been painful not being able to cut into this because it smells so good. So here we go. Let's cut into this and see what we are going to get. Oh. Oh my goodness. Look at that, you guys. Oh, look at that. And oh my gosh, the smell. Oh, okay. I'm going to end this video now, but we are going to start a new thing where once we do a bread, we are going to make a sandwich with it. And we're going to videotape that as well. So stay tuned. This will be the first one. Thanks for joining us today and happy baking.